So you want to launch a product on Amazon FBA and you've seen all the big YouTubers talk about the opportunities in the supplement space. But one thing they're not talking about is how to find a manufacturer. In this video, we're going to go behind the scenes with how we actually found our manufacturer for our upcoming supplement launch. Welcome to FBA Unfiltered. If you're new here, we're documenting step by step our journey to launching this new product on Amazon FBA. So if you don't want to miss out on any of our steps along the way, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video. All right, FBA Unfiltered crew, thanks for joining us once again. I'm Taylor. I'm here with Rami. Rami, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Taylor. I appreciate you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Let's get into this video today talking about our manufacturer.
So when it comes to manufacturing products for the US customer, if it's going to be a consumable, we really recommend everybody to stick with US-based manufacturing. As you can imagine, having that made in the USA logo, that sticker onto your packaging is going to go a very long way in regards to trust and someone willing to digest a product that you make from essentially a no-name brand. Right. So it's very important, in our opinion, to stick with a US-based manufacturer for those. Essentially, everything else that's not consumable, you're probably going to get made cheaper overseas. I mean, for the most part, again, with a consumable product, when it comes to factoring in all the headaches of FDA compliance, GMP certifications, smell is another big one. It's just a lot easier when you factor in using a US-based manufacturer. Not only that, when it comes to actually like sending in shipping times for your products, for restocks and launches is going to go a long way. But one thing I would like to add here is that you can also test products really quickly. Although Taylor and I are very bullish on the product that we're first launching, it's still really cool that we're going to be able to test this product relatively quickly. And if it doesn't work for whatever reason, we can pivot and restart with another product with the manufacturer. And funny enough, I think there's two other products that they already have that we're really bullish on starting. We just wanted to start with this. Now, finding a manufacturer in the US, there are a lot of different things to kind of factor in and a lot of ways to make it a little bit easier for you. And a lot of this really comes to, in my opinion, more cold outreach than anything else. Although there are things like ThomasNet, Markers Row, and private Facebook groups like it says here in the online directioners. One thing I will say for you, Taylor, that I have a question is: have you ever found someone on ThomasNet or Markers Row personally?
No, I've used them to see kind of like how many manufacturers might be online, but basically I do outreach too. I just Google search and then I just send out maybe, 20 messages to, or as many as I can find. Essentially, I just shoot off a ton of messages to manufacturers and try to see who gets back to me and go from there.
Cool. So then we have a very similar experience in that. Like I've been searching on ThomasNet since 2017, and legit, I don't think I've found one. I'm sure there are people who have. It's just every time I search on ThomasNet, I have always found better results just by Googling
Mhm.
the thing I'm trying to do. I'll literally search private label supplement manufacturer or private label light bulb manufacturer, whatever it may be, right? So just search, whatever sort of thing that you're looking for. You can add the tagline USA or whatever it may be, and it's really easy because typically they have a Google storefront where you can actually look at the reviews, see what's going on. But also another really good opportunity is trade shows because there's a lot of manufacturers who just don't know marketing, like they suck at marketing, right? So they have nothing established, or the website's horrible, or the contact us is horrible. So trade shows is a really good idea, and networking, of course, too. But honestly, the two big ones, in my opinion, on this list that I think will essentially always lead you results is cold outreach and then trade shows. That would be the two for me personally. That would be my big ones.
I would only add, just like Rami said, that their focus isn't usually like forward facing with marketing and that kind of stuff. So even if you come across something that, the website looks, not very good, or the contact us form is kind of clanky and doesn't really seem that good, always try to make a good first impression with that message. We can post a template. I'll post a template of the message that I normally send in the description of this video. But essentially, you want to articulate to them that you're serious, that like you're a representative of this or that brand, which is your trademarked brand. Hopefully, you've already done that. And then, what you're looking for specifically, and that you want a long-term relationship, so on and so forth, and take that seriously because that's the first impression they're going to have of you. Don't just write it like a text message and shoot it off.
Yeah.
Actually write kind of like a semi-formal letter, if you will. Think of it more like that, and make that good first impression, even if the website or the contact us form doesn't seem like it's the best. it might just because they're not focused on that, and they could still be a great manufacturer.
Yeah, and also asking the manufacturer the right questions, which makes them believe that you're a qualified prospect for them. The only reason why they took us as a client was literally because I was able to articulate the questions properly to them. They literally got me on a call with their CEO, and I was able to pitch my entire game plan for our brand that we're doing for Elemental Nutraceuticals and the other brand I'm launching with my wife slash family. But because they were able to see everything I was bringing to the table, they were able to essentially give us really good pricing, but also priority treatment, which is very important. But it all stemmed from literally just being able to ask the right questions because they will then know that you're serious. So this is the first few questions is really more so based for consumable products, right? Which is like, are you GMP certified? Can you provide FDA registration and inspection documentation? MOQs is a big one. Can you handle custom formulations and private labeling? Lead times for production. This number 5 is very important to understand, actually. The first 4, I feel like you have to ask regardless. The lead times for production is very important. Do you offer samples or trial runs? This is another really, really good question to ask. It's something I really recommend everybody to do. You can kind of get by without getting a sample for a non-consumable product, right? Like you can get an inspection company to come out, take videos, show the product X, Y, and Z if you wanted to get away without doing a sample. But when you're coming to, a consumable product, it's really, really recommended to make sure that the taste is good, you actually like it, and it's something that you would take yourself and or family and do some blind testing to ensure that it's actually better than what the competition is, or you have some sort of difference, right? And then handling shipping and fulfillment logistics is an important question as well.
The question about lead time, guys, is pretty important because that's a big factor when you're looking at a manufacturer. I would say obviously the cost is important, the MOQ is important, but when you start comparing manufacturers, lead times can be a pretty big deal. I just it's top of mind for me because I have one particular manufacturer that I work with, and the lead time tends to be like 40 to 45 days. And it's just, once you factor in shipping on top of that, it means that for me to manage my inventory, I have to be looking, 65, 75 days out on my inventory. And it just makes forecasting a lot more difficult. So the shorter those intervals can be, the quicker the lead time can be, the better. So I do think that that's an important element.
Yeah, my top selling product deals with kind of like the same issue. I'm essentially 2.5 months every time I want to place an order, so 60 to 75 days as well. And honestly, if you just get one spike of sales, you're kind of like out. So I feel your pain immensely. And the problem is, and like this is something you guys are going to experience too. This is what the gurus don't speak to. So if you're here still watching this video, like please really, really understand this, is that churning your money is such a big part of Amazon. It's such a big part. You get paid out every 2 weeks, but Amazon holds so much fees. I don't know if you're dealing with deferred transfer payments,
Yep.
brother. Like they're holding tens of thousands of dollars for me every single time in the
Yep.
deferred payments or whatever the hell. It's trash. But at the end of the day, you really have to money manage well in Amazon. You really, really have to. So understanding that churn is a real thing. So placing orders in time can get difficult, but just understanding all that information is going to allow you to make data-driven decisions.
Yep.
We
And
can kind
and
of go
and this
from
all this all just makes you seem like a more experienced, more serious business partner for these manufacturers because they know this. They know that that their best customers are asking these questions and taking these things into consideration. So when you do
there.
that as well, it's just a good signal to them that you're a serious business partner.
Now we can kind of dive into a couple of things a little bit deeper. So for getting samples, a couple of things that you really want to make sure that you're doing is actually requesting multiple samples as well. Like one thing that we ran into when I first got the Shilajit, she only gave me 5 gummies, and I responded. I actually said like, "Yo, I need a fair amount more than 5. Like I understand and I appreciate that you got it out to me quickly, but I need more than 5 individual gummies because I need to do a blind test with my friends and family. Because at the end of the day, Taylor and I understand that we need a true differentiator from the market, right? I know the market currently has smelly Shilajit gummies and does not taste that good. So I wanted to make sure that we launched one that tastes good and doesn't smell like crap. And thankfully, we were able to provide both of those opportunities, but we only knew that by getting the samples and doing a blind test, and everybody unanimously agreeing that ours is better than the one that's selling 20,000 units a month. And comparing several manufacturers is actually the best way. Actually, I'll include this caveat. This isn't necessarily just for samples. I get this question literally all the time when I'm teaching someone Amazon for the first time, is how to pick a manufacturer and and like understanding like what's a fair price and what's not. That will always boil down to getting quotes from multiple manufacturers and picking the one that communicates with you the best, gives you the best pricing, and has the best product. You do the one that does those three, and you're good. You have your answer. And I have never, in my 8 years of experience, ever had to boil it down to more than two manufacturers. Never. If they've done those three things: price, communication, quality of product, all you need to do. And if you have two that's in there, beautiful. I mean, just pick one, close your eyes and move forward. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it can sound a little overwhelming, guys, which is why I'm going to also put a link in the description for a quick spreadsheet that we put together just so you can rank manufacturers. Because, like Rami said, you need to be reaching out to multiple manufacturers so that you can make an informed decision. You have to compare and contrast the different manufacturers. They're going to have different strengths and weaknesses. And so, this spreadsheet in the description should help you with that. You can just plug in everything as you go, and then you can look back at the spreadsheet and go, oh, yes. After I've taken in all this information, here's the best candidate.
Think about all the upfront costs and the upfront headaches that comes with starting a partnership, right? Package design, going in the back and forth, getting the logos made, ensuring that everything is exactly how you want it to be for the end product. All of that takes so much time. But now when you start reordering, it's a lot simpler, correct? Like it's a much easier process for the manufacturer. So the manufacturer's goal is to find as many good customers that they'll be doing this upfront work for, but that will definitely stay in business, right? That's why manufacturers are picky. But that's why building a strong partnership from the beginning is super important. And even mentioning this stuff up front will tell the manufacturer that you're serious, right? Emphasize your intent to establish a long-term relationship. I literally emphasize that like every 5 minutes on our call because I understood that, hey, if I want to nail this manufacturer, I need to ensure that they understand I'm not a small fish, right? I really want to be, one of their bigger partners and really build with them. Communicating clearly and regularly. This is another really important aspect to it. And making sure that when they email you, that you're on top of it, right? That you're getting back to them quickly. And again, just there is so much that comes into play when it comes to first impressions. But when it comes to business, it's like everything because people are a lot more emotionless when it comes to business. So you really got to make sure your first impressions are really good. So be upfront about your experiences for quality, timelines, and costs. And you can take our experiences, right? There's a saying, a smart person learns from their mistakes, a wise person learns from other people's mistakes, right? Learn from our mistakes. Understand that quality is super important. Make sure you emphasize that. Timelines, you just heard that Taylor and I complaining about the 60 to 75 day timelines that we're talking about. And then costs. You already see what the fees are on Amazon. You already understand the costs that your competition is selling it for. Do some reverse calculations and figure out what is the lowest cost of good that you can get this down to. Pay attention to their responsiveness. Are they treating you like a valued partner? Another very important part. That's why I said communication is super important. And if you notice, I put communication first because I will literally pay more, right? I actually had price last, if I'm correct, because that's actually the least important to me. It goes communication, quality, price for me, right? Because I will gladly pay more for a product that the manufacturer communicates with me better, it treats me more better, and the quality is better, right? Like that cut and dry, I will pay more for that 10 out of 10 times. And developing trust by starting with smaller orders before scaling up. You have to, put yourself in the manufacturer's shoes as well and ensure that you're making an equally beneficial relationship for this. Like if I'm correct, actually, yeah, no, this is it. We're starting with a 500 unit order, but actually their MOQ is 1,000 units. It's like cut and dry. They don't take less than that typically. But when I got on the call with the CEO, I essentially told him like, hey, this is what we're going to do. I'm telling you, we are going to test multiple products if this product doesn't work. So don't be concerned about doing all this upfront work with us. And then you're kind of just screwed. It's not going to happen. Right. But being able to emphasize that and establish what your true business plan is will go a long way.
Yeah, kind of what I meant by this building trust with the smaller order. It's not, it is about the order quantity, but it's more about your capacity to uphold your end of the bargain. So don't come in all crazy, talking a big game
Ah,
and then let them down, right?
yeah.
So so that's kind of what I mean is you don't want to do that. You want to come in, understanding, yeah, they're going to need a certain MOQ and you can negotiate on that, but it might be, it is what it is at the end of the day. But don't overpromise and underdeliver. Make sure that you're living up to your end of the bargain. Build trust that way. Don't promise a bunch of stuff that you can't come through and fulfill because that's going to destroy the relationship.
Could not agree with you more. That's a a much better. That's a really good perspective to have on it. And honestly, I believe that's it. We're gonna do some key takeaways with Taylor. I appreciate you joining this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
That's it for this video. If you found it informative, please leave a like. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. And remember, we're still offering a free 7-day trial of our coaching program. Link is in the description. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.